How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
Mumbai Indians, red hot at home, won the toss, put KKR in and blew them away for 116 in 16.2 overs. Early wickets by Deepak Chahar and Trent Bolt. And now the world has seen what Ashwini Kumar can do. Left-arm seamer on his IPL debut, finishing with 4 for 24 off his 3. We look back at that innings and we're all here in our couches much before time on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Riggin for timeout. Varun had to put his dinner plate aside. Sanjay Bangar is ready. Dustin is here as well. But we must start with Ashwini Kumar. What a wonderful story that is, Sanjay, someone you've seen before.
Good to see the growth that he has shown, and the story that my memory goes back, like we had a camp somewhere in the month of December 23, and that was a preparatory camp. After that, when we got summoned for, when we got together for the pre-season camp, Ashwini was taken by CSK to be their net bowler. And we literally had to make a lot of phone calls and get him out of the CSK camp and get him as an intern. But kudos to Mumbai Indians that they showed faith in him, picked him and gave him the chance, because it's one thing to get bowlers, impressive bowlers, and it's another thing to, put them in match situations. So well done Mumbai Indians once again.
What impressed you the most about the ability that the left-arm seamer had today and showed us, Varun?
I think he was getting on quicker to the batsman than they expected. Very skiddy off the wicket. Again, like really neat action, everything going towards the target. So it was really good to see a young fast bowler with so much confidence to come onto the scene like this. And I think hats off to the Mumbai Indians, the Mumbai Indians scouting team, because they've actually done a lot of work. Even the left arm Chinaman Ashwini tonight. So we're seeing new faces right at the start of the tournament.
Yeah, how do they manage to scout these players? Because someone like Ashwini hasn't played that much domestic cricket, right? Sanjay's played only 2 first-class games, a handful of games. He did play in a local tournament in Punjab last year. So is that where the scouts are going to, even the local tournaments now, and finding these players?
See, there were 2 tournaments earlier wherein a lot of scouting used to happen. One is the DY Patil T20 tournament, which happens in the month of Jan, Feb, and obviously the Mushtaq Ali. But apart from that, now what's happening is that because of a plethora of state leagues as well. So scouting has now become a year-round activity, isn't constrained to just maybe 1 or 2 months. So you have to go and watch maybe a Jharkhand league or a Chhattisgarh Cricket League, MP League. Every state has a league of its own.
I think Ashwini played in the Shere Punjab.
Yeah, so Shere Punjab is Punjab's Punjab Cricket Association's official.
So they would have had scouts there.
Yeah, he was noticed by our scouts there, and that's how we got him as part of that intern setup.
Yeah, and I think a number of these state leagues are also televised. They're broadcasted. So it's
Vignesh Puttur as well,
scouting.
the Kerala League.
Yes, absolutely.
Which Raunak followed very closely.
Very closely, yeah. He didn't bowl much over there. He's bowled more over here already in 2 games. But yeah, Ashwini Kumar, brilliant today. Let's just talk about the overall story for KKR though, because a lot happened in the power play. So how do you describe the events of the power play now, where there were boundaries by Rahane and Raghuvanshi, and wickets just seemed to falling? What were they, 41 for 4, I think, at the end of the power play? Sanjay, what's the story of the power play?
I think just playing one way. At times things can go horribly wrong, and that's what happened tonight for KKR. Good batting conditions, not a lot of seam or swing moment, and that's where the ball was coming on nicely onto the bat, stroking the ball very well. Whoever got in with a chance, Ajinkya Rahane would have expected that it could have batted a little bit differently, but once the message goes that we have to play in a particular fashion, then it's too late to maneuver. And none of the batters showed that they could do it.
Those matchups we spoke
all the matchups kind of worked in Mumbai Indians' favour. We talked about Trent Bolt to Narayan. It's now 5 dismissals and 19 balls. So it's like every 4 balls pretty much he's getting Narayan out. So that's like a real domination.
And you saw the way Narayan gets out. It tells you something about whether he fancies the bowler or not. I've seen him get out a few times like that, just backing away to the full ball, and in the end it doesn't look very pretty.
He's not setting up a swing. That's the thing. Narayan, like, people are scared to pitch it up to him because they know that if it doesn't swing, he's going to hit you for 4 or 6. But if it does move and it's on the stumps, there's a high likelihood he's going to get out. So I would say, like, bowlers should adopt more of this kind of strategy where they go full, let the ball swing and try to get him out as soon as possible. Because if he's set, then it's bad news.
Do you sense that every team now, at least a lot of teams now, because we've also had this impression of 230s, 240s and 220s, that the insurance game, or the old school 2020 game, where you then have to just consolidate. Even batters who are supposed to be consolidators or accumulators are just playing the language of T20 cricket that's being spoken. Is that perhaps why these kind of blowouts happen, Sanjay?
Yes, certainly. That could be one of the reasons and prime reasons for that. A case in point, again, we said about Ajinkya Rahane is batting differently. Ajinkya Rahane of earlier times when he was playing for RR would be different, and that's where the value of such players is critical, because it's not going to come off. It's a high risk strategy wherein you just go hard from ball 1 up to ball 120, but that's not going to come off, and that's where you have to have at least one player in that lineup who can play as per the situation or what is needed. So that's where I think none of the batters showed that they could do it.
Almost all the batters, even in the middle order, got out playing aggressive shots. Even Raghuvanshi got out trying to pull Hardik. You had Venkatesh Iyer trying to play that uppercut. So it's not like they were defending and getting out. Even after losing wickets, they were still going for the aggressive shots.
I think that's a good point you make, because at some point you have to hit the safety button, and that perhaps is when the impact sub comes in. You're already in trouble there. And it took me by surprise that you still had batting after that. So Manish Pandey and Rinku Singh at that time, if you are just to bore it down, try and keep yourself in the game. Or is that just dated? You can't have it both ways.
No, I think even at least, okay, if you didn't do through the middle, okay, you bought into one style of play and you're going to attack till the cows come home. But when Ramandeep was batting with the two tailenders, I thought he could have farmed the strike, at least taken the game to the 20th over. They've played only 16.2 overs at the end of the day. That's a lot of balls. Even if you get run a ball for the rest of the overs, you're still putting up a fighting total. We all know what happened last year. KKR were in a similar soup at the Wankhede, and they ended up winning the game.
Yeah, they got 160 odd, I think. That game you remember very well.
The game that I did not research just before this show.
Rinku is a conversation I want to have here, because Rinku's stocks have been so high. I think it was last year when we were saying the one thing is that Rinku's numbers chasing versus Rinku's numbers batting first. Last year's story changed a little bit. He didn't get much time in a season that KKR won. Is there more to why Rinku Singh isn't quite lighting the IPL on fire like he did a season or so ago? Sanjay?
Well, that's the case with the people batting at number 5, 6. Either they are short of balls or they do get plenty of opportunities, and that's where I feel that the pressure to bat in a particular fashion all the time, which has been now vocally advocated by a lot of pundits and a lot of teams as well, that we need to bat fearlessly, take the game on. There's never one way to play cricket, and I think that is somewhere the cricketing smarts will have to really come in and give some batters the need to play as per the situation as well.
Would this have been the perfect time for him to maybe try to build innings, because he came in the power play, which is very rare for him. And then, I think the way he got out, he had hit one boundary of Ashwini Kumar, but then he went for another. Could he have maybe thought, would this have been a good opportunity for him to say, okay, today is my day to score a 60, 70 and save myself for the death to attack then? Or is it so ingrained that you have to go hard every ball that that's the only way he can bat?
I think the language that is now regularly spoken does tend to have an effect on the mindset and the game plans as well. So, there are managements who say that, okay, even if you're going to lose 3 games on the trot, they're going to back it. But actually it doesn't happen that way. Because the moment you drop down 3 or 4 games playing in that particular fashion, then the doubts start to creep in.
I
But
think
just one thing.
Please.
Like, it sounds very cliched, but the reason why Virat Kohli is Virat Kohli is because he bats the situation and he bats the conditions better than anybody else in the world. So that's why we see his consistency over the years. And we were having this conversation, why doesn't Rohit have the kind of numbers Virat has? Because I think he respects the conditions, respects the situation of the game and bats accordingly. That's why we get the numbers we get from him.
I mean, the flip side to Kohli's batting came with whether he can catch up with the other batters when the game is, moved up by a couple of points in terms of run rates and strike rates. But he's shown that's actually easier to do. This seems to be the more challenging for a lot of batters. My disappointment with Rinku is he's a first-class cricketer who averages 55 almost. And I think that it's not like Rinku is and no disrespect to the names I'll mention, but he's not like just say Ramandeep or a Tim David or guys who only have that role of hitting the white ball hard towards the end. But somewhere I'm waiting for Rinku to show us that, you know, he's the player that almost made the T20 World Cup squad last year. Was very unlucky not to. Do you sense we'll see that at some point soon?
You have to cast your mind back to the greatest finishers that the game has seen, at least in the recent past. You have the prime examples of Michael Bevan, Yuvraj Singh.
Sure.
To an extent, Raina batted at that particular number, as also MS Dhoni and what they do, and even for that matter, how an Hardik Pandya bats.
Yeah.
So clearly, for a finisher's role, that strategy can't really work all the time. For the top three, it might just work.
Sure.
That okay, you have to bat in a particular fashion, you have to get the side off to a great start, but that certainly can't be a case for number 5 or number 6.
Tough job batting in that position, Rinku Singh. But he wasn't the only one who didn't get the runs. I'm just very quickly before I move to the chase. Venkatesh Iyer 6 and 3 to start after that record, or very high price tag, and wonder at what point that also becomes the question on, is that playing on his mind? Is he not quite the same batter that was dominating or bailing them out of situations?
I think it's too early in the tournament to say if he's not the same batter. He's just played 3 games. But the way I was watching it today, I think even from the word go, he was late on quite a few balls, which you generally don't see, because he gave them 2 catching opportunities that went down, and even after that he wasn't getting timing at all, and even the ball he got out, he was late on that ball.
Yeah.
So literally he's out thrice and he was late on all 3 instances.
Yeah.
It could just be a matter of something which is off with his timing. Sanjay Bangar brought up a great point that when the bowler is almost about to release, his right leg is still up in the air. So that's something which teams might be exploiting, and he might be a little late on the ball.
Okay, well, we'll wait to see. He's faced a total of 12 balls, but sometimes a 0 of 1 or 0 of 2, okay, you can't tell much, but 3 of 9s, and suddenly we
with 2 lives.
Yeah, so that is something interesting. Ashwini Kumar, just wrapping it up, has said he's feeling very good, felt the pressure early, but the team environment did not make me feel that way for long. Can't help but think that catch he took of Quinton de Kock too just made him feel like he's in the game. You take a catch like that, was a tough catch, wasn't it? Smashed into his hands.
Every debutant needs like a moment to
Yeah.
wake you up and be like, okay, I'm here in the middle of Wankhede, I'm playing in a jam-packed crowd, and I'm playing for the Mumbai Indians. I think that was his moment.
Yeah.
Like like my moment when I played was like, oh my God, like the first boundary Sean Marsh hit me for was like, I shook and I was like, okay, man, I'm playing an IPL game, and I'm sure.
So your first sweet moment was the batter smashing you for
Was it a very nice shot?
It was a great shot. It was a great shot, and I still remember it. And that just got me into the competition,
Sure.
and just took all the nerves away. I think that was just the same.
I would also want to ask Sanjay Bangar, even though it's a long time back, whether he remembers his first moment that made him feel like, yeah, playing for India or playing, at the highest level.
Let's stick to IPL. And IPL for me, when I played my first IPL game, I was close to 37.
Right.
And I got a chance, and the game was against KKR. And what I remember is that the intensity and the pace at which the game is played. It was fast-paced, it was exciting, and it was all that you hoped for and dreamed for.
So was your first moment with the bat or the ball back then?
I think it was with the bat.
Okay, we must remind people. Our good friend Mr. Manjrekar was telling me
You're not
yesterday,
going to ask me
must
about my
remind him
first
about
IPL
his
moment.
all-round. I'm still talking him up, and you want to come up with your IPL moment. Fine, give me your IPL
My
moment.
first IPL moment was sitting on the couch and watching it on
Very good. And look at your consistency, like Dhoni and Manish Pandey and Virat Kohli.
Still
all
doing the same
17
role.
years.
Same role.
Speaking of Manish Pandey, that's now a check that he continues to feature in all 17 editions, 18 editions now of the IPL as a player, active player, because he got some game time today. But his activation could mean that KKR have to make do with all the bowling resources they anyway have. Quick look at that KKR team again and looking ahead to the chase. Is this just going to be academic run chase or 116? Can we possibly see, KKR at least get through the Mumbai top order? I mean, I can't help but think, even though it's Mumbai's game, Rohit Sharma needs a score. And maybe Ryan Rickleton also needs a score. Those are the bowling options, Sanjay, for KKR. Fair to say they still have enough bowling? We haven't seen Andre Russell bowl all season yet.
Yeah, they've Andre Russell being there means that they have 3 proper quicks and they have 2 spinners. So I don't think they'll have to look beyond that because they do not really have that kind of a score to defend.
Right.
So you can see maybe a Varun Chakravarti being used slightly
Early?
for a couple of overs in the power play.
Sure.
I mean,
to cause a little bit of inroads.
Chakravarti is the one player against who MI have. I mean, the batters have a tough record against him. I think Sky averages strikes at less than 100 against Chakravarti. Rohit has also struggled against him a bit.
Oh, really?
But I mean, the target is so small that I don't know if it'll matter. I had all those stats prepared, hoping that
Don't
KKR
lie.
would have something to defend. But
I mean, you never know. Even if you get through, say, even if MI don't make a clean chase out of this, or if they smash this in, say, 12, 13 overs, this could just set up their season. That's what you want to see from
100%. Every team needs some momentum, and a big win like this just brings back a lot of belief into the group, which they need because they didn't have a good season last year. They've lost their first 2 games, and now a big win. And I'm sure they would go for a big win, like an absolute dominating statement kind of win. Big match for Rohit Sharma.
Yeah.
Because he would love to take some momentum into the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, I think first look of Ryan Rickelton at the Wankhede, who was part of their MI Cape Town winning side, and can't help but think he's someone who might enjoy batting at the Wankhede Stadium. Right, let's reassess this game, save something for the end. 89% win predictor for Mumbai Indians, just a little over 11 for KKR for what it's worth. So let's get predictions. Varun, Aaron.
Game's getting over in the 11th over.
11th over, very good. Sanjay Bangar,
Yeah, an easy win.
easy win. Dustin.
I've learned not to contradict the experts. I'll say 13th over. Maybe I'll give it a little more time.
All right.
I hope it's 11th over, but let's say 13th.
As always, I go for the outrageous, the outlandish. It is not going to be KKR defending. It's not that outrageous. I think we'll get it done inside 10. We'll absolutely smash it. And even if they lose the odd wicket, it won't matter.
I think you have an early night out, so that's the reason why you're just building it up in that fashion.
Sanjay, I have no friends, so nobody is waiting to see me.
I know you have a friend who lives
Very close by. That joke is too inside because people don't know where our studio is and they don't know whose house is close by. But anyway, I will leave it there. Thank you, Sanjay Bangar, Varun Aaron, and Dustin Silgardo. We will pick up the conversation at what looks like it's a straightforward run chase. It's the IPL, you never know. Join us for post-match analysis, where we'll also welcome your questions and comments to the panel on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout.
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.